But is it not true you have co-produced his latest album?
Yes. Yeah, I was involved in half of the tunes, and we did like some. It was really, for me. Funny thing is, we live in Munich both, but we never met, never. So we only like knew from each other, and he's just hell, and he always thinks of me as the acid jazz guy, you know, because I did like the Compost thing, and so back in the days. And then we actually, Peter Kruder, my friend, introduced us, and he sort of insisted that this Prommer guy comes to the record. And since then, and we met like 2007 or something, and did the Teufelswerk, and we did like 2 weeks of madness, and it was amazing. We did a track with Brian Ferry, and we did actually the half of the album, and since then I'm doing all his stuff. I love this guy. He's like, every time I meet him, he's like, he comes up with an idea that sort of is not expected, but it makes so much sense that you're like, just, you know, this is like, okay, okay, let's do it, let's go for it. Like the last thing we did, like German Schlager.
I was going to ask you about this. Is going to be the next question.
Like, you know, there's this company that wants me to do blah blah blah, like a compilation. He's like, haha, but you know, I'm gonna sort of do what I want to do and twist it a little bit. So we did a compilation of like German stuff,
so that people understand this better. Și o să zic asta în românește că e ceva mai simplu. La noi era chestia în 80 cu șlagăre. Cuvântul Schlager vine de fapt din germană. This is a German word, Schlager. Okay. Ceea ce înseamnă o muzică populară, ceva de genul. Și acum DJ Hell și cu domnul Prommer reiau niște șlagăre din anii 80 nemțești și le updatează, cum ar veni. Și au o piesă gata care sună absolut incredibil, care m-a sunat-o pe repeat timp de 2 zile și o să-l întrebăm despre asta. Yeah.
So yeah, and I think that's a good idea. It was amazing. I played with him at the Registratur in Munich, which is a big techno club. There's like 800 people raving, like really good. And no, it's closed for 2 years now. It's really sad. We miss it. Yeah, it was like the epicenter of Munich. Now it's like divided, but back then it was like the Registratur is like, this is where it's happening. And he played this Schlager song at the end of his set. And it didn't sound like a Schlager, it sounded like a northern soul track. He presented it in a way that you're like, oh my god, what is it? Yeah, but it's German, but it's, you know, and you're like, in every other context, you're like, oh god, this is so embarrassing. But in this, I was like totally, like almost crying, you know, and that was sort of, he had this idea, and it was
a very emotional track. It's not just a pop track.
No, yeah.
There's an emotional side to it.
Yeah. And I have to say, back in the days, they really knew what to do. You know, how to work it, how to produce it. So you mean, of course, the melodies are not really, you know, deep.
I think they're great.
Yeah, but I had the best time. And you know, of course, then you sort of, everything is possible. You're like, okay, let's do it. And that's the great thing about Hell. You know, he's like open to experiment and not so the consciousness about, hey, is it cool or not? We don't care. We just go for it and see what happens, and that's great. And that's what I like to do, you know, because the big thing with nowadays, you know, you're so aware of things.
Butterflies creating energy, rising up to my heart.
Do you consider yourself to be a successful artist, an accomplished artist at this point?
My definition, from my personal definition, of course, I haven't accomplished anything, but I'm doing okay. So yes, I would say, but you know, I still have the feeling that I'm not there yet. I think that's sort of my.
And for how many years have you not been there yet?
Yeah, it's 20 years now.
20 years. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I think that's for me. That's, as I said, that's the Polaroid. It's not like, okay, this is it. This is the masterpiece done. I think then I sort of start studying, I don't know, law or something. But now I'm still like sort of, I think for me music is really about learning and listening and getting, you know, there's like so many things that inspire music. It's your biography, your social interaction with people, what you eat, how you sleep, how you live, basically. Like tonight, you know, I'm listening to these guys from Cologne. I never heard them before, you know, I was like, okay. And of course tomorrow I'm a different person and I'm gonna do different music. So on that point I'm still sort of a beginner for me. But I think since I'm doing it for 25 years now, it sort of shows that it's okay-ish. Yeah.
So he's an accomplished beginner, a very successful beginner.
Exactly.
Okay.
Actually, that's why I call my project Drum Lesson, because I'm the student. I'm taking the lesson. That's always what I felt, that because I play with so brilliant musicians, then every time when I sort of meet them and play with them, I'm like, oh Jesus, it's like Christmas. I'm like smiling and yoo-hoo, show me, and I'm like learning so much, and that's why I sort of chose the name Drum Lesson, because I think that's not being, hey, we have to learn, but for me, it's like really the input is more important than the output.
Okay, and maybe like a final question. Do you generally give advice? Do you ever give advice? And if I were to ask you to give young artists some advice, what would it be?
I think now, trust your instincts. Trust your instincts. You are right. That's my advice. Don't judge. Don't care. I don't care what the other people, what's in the charts, what the hot DJ is playing, number one, whatever. I think people should learn again to trust themselves. And what you do is special, and what you do makes you different. And try not to sound like the hot new stuff that's on the radio right now, because everybody tries that. And you cannot avoid it. Everybody has that. Things, we're listening to stuff and, oh yeah, we want to sound like the new Black Eyed Peas thing. That's so interesting. And that's totally okay. But I think the people should learn again to trust their instincts. And with all the technology available, and everybody could sound the same, but they shouldn't. And that's why they should trust their instincts to become a person again, and not some repetitive beatport lookalike. Yeah, I think that's good to learn. I don't mind it. I think it's good, sampling and copying. It's a process where you sort of find yourself, but then do the odd thing where you think, oh, this would be fun. And that's the best way to go. And not, okay, I heard this is the way to go, and sidechaining is the only way to make the bass sound good. It's a good way, but there's different 10,000 other ways to do it. And to play a DJ set, I don't know if mixing is important or not. I don't know. For me, I do care that it's tight, but maybe it's not important. I don't know. You decide, not me. And I think, and music is art, and we forget that. It's not a mean of how do you say? My English is gone. The German word comes, but it's not a service. That's what I say. It's like we try to have to be creators. And when you think about your career, the moments where what I ask you when you heard Hell, he did something that you didn't expect him to do. When I saw Prince the first time, I was like expecting something, and he did something totally different. And I was like, okay, I don't like it.
The formally are the
exactly. I don't like it. This is very disappointing. But then at the end, I was like, hey, Jesus, he doesn't give a whatever. He's just doing what he wants to do. And I think as an artist, of course, you have to make a living and make please the crowd. But at the end, you have to be authentic you. Otherwise, you have no chance. Okay. Yeah.
Write that down, kids. Excuse me?
You need a good haircut like you.
Thank you. Somebody noticed my haircut. We thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I appreciate taking the time to talk to us.
I have to say this is one of my favorite trips this year. Really?
We'll take your word for it.
Really? I have the best time here.
All right. Thanks again. And this is True Noise. This is the model. And we love you guys.
Yeah. Hey, this guy rocks.